as we go along. And throughout that process, at times we get setbacks because we don't have that person or persons to show us the ropes. So for me, I went through trial and errors and stuff like that, just like everybody else. But I started from the bottom, sleeping on sofas and in a basement. So now where I own my own home and I own my own business. It's not, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, but little do a lot of people know that there's so much opportunities in skill labor. And within skill labor, there's so many avenues you can get into because I am an exterminator and it has opened up so many doors for me because of people and places that I've been in and people that I've met throughout my career. I would not normally meet those people. And you'd be surprised the people that I meet and the access that I have to these people. And one thing I can tell you when it's like this. You have a vision, try your utmost best to surround yourself with people who will strengthen you, people who you're able to go to and say, hey, I want to do this. I'm thinking about doing that. And they can give you an honest opinion and an honest feedback because at times people don't see your dream or your vision. It was given to you. So you need people who will support you along that journey. And with skill labor, you could become a mechanic, an exterminator, a bricklayer, a plumber, an electrician. And I will tell you how opportunities arise because for me, my customers that I've been with for years, if they need something done, 9 out of 10 times I'm the person they come to. Do you know someone who could repair a boiler? Do you know an electrician? So within you being an exterminator, you could also venture off into other avenues of starting other businesses as well, based off access and the trust that you have built up over the years with your clients. So don't think that, hey, you get into a skill labor wherever, whatever it might be, mechanic, bricklayer, whatever it might be that you choose to do, that does not define you or that does not stop your growth. You could always diversify, get into other things. Like me personally, I'm now into real estate as well. So you may be on your 9 to 5 job. There's a lesson to be learned from that 9 to 5. Always remember your 9 to 5 is your first investor. So you might be on a job that you don't like. Just look at it as your first investor that you can use to propel you to where you need to get to. And I would say when you get into your business, try to learn every aspect of your business. You don't have to be perfect at it in every aspect, but try to learn every aspect of your business, especially basic accounting. Know what your overhead cost is, know how much money is coming out, how much is coming in. Because we spend so much time working so hard for our money, but yet still we give it so freely to somebody else to handle. Instead of trying to learn the basics about accounting, you don't have to be a genius. You know how much money you make. You should know how to balance a book, how much is coming in, how much is going out. And another thing, when you get into business, I could only tell you from my experience, is do not let money be the driver. Let the dream be the thing that drives you. Because if money becomes your driver, you will never make enough of it and you will only be chasing that dollar every single day. And now it becomes like a job to you. And see quality customers, not quantity. And one of the greatest investment you can make is within yourself. So if you get into any career path that you want to get into, invest in you. When others are asleep, you're up at night researching, investing in your craft, investing in you. That will separate you from the other company or the other person, because that extra time that you take to invest in you when other persons are sleeping or having fun, you will see how that helps you and enhance you as a business owner or a person who's pursuing a career as well. And remember, we are the architects of our lives. We build the lives we want to live. And without, there's no gain without some pain. You have to give up something. Always remember, anything that's worthwhile having, you will have to give up something to gain that, what you're pursuing. So if it's movie nights, you're gonna have to give up movie nights. If it's some friends, you're gonna have to give up some friends. And if they're true friends, they will be there once you achieve what you set out to achieve, and they will be there to support you as you go along. All right, because you have to run your race. You have to travel your journey. You got your vision, so you have to pursue it. So, and again, the people you surround yourself with, you have to be careful, because we take bits and pieces of the people that we surround ourselves with. All right. And you have to find people who stretch you where, in terms of these people are going somewhere and you want to go somewhere as well. So if you're around a set of people who are driven and going somewhere, it only allows you to be driven as well. So that is one of the key things you have to remember when you have to build your circle. And another thing is, when you're doing business, do not go and give a price based off what you see that someone has in their home, what's in their driveway. You give a price based off what the job is valued at. Okay, so these are things that are not taught to us in terms of doing business, but these are key things that you should um, have, because you can't teach integrity, you can't teach morals. And I can tell you, in business, these are one of the key traits you must have as it relates to business. Knowing the job is one, but integrity, honor, respect, those are things that you have to have and that can't be taught to you. It's either you have it or you don't. No matter how good you are at the job, if you don't possess these things, your days are numbered as it relates to being a business owner. And at times we'll see the person who's successful and we say, hey, this person has it all. But we don't see the backstory. We don't see the sleepless nights that these people go through to achieve what they have achieved. And they have done it, so you're able to do that as well. One thing that I've learned is, study the people who you want to be like, in terms of, you don't have to be like them in terms of as a person, but in terms of achieving. Study these people, learn, because they have left bits and pieces, they have left a trail for us to follow. That's one thing that you have to be mindful of as well. So learn your craft and learn every aspect of your business, because you can't just give an accountant your money at the end and say, hey, Know how much your taxes, if you're running a corporate business, if you're running a C Corp. Now, there's benefits to a C Corp in terms of a DBA, which is attached to you, the individual. A C Corp, now, if you have a family, you could give your kids shares in that business. That business is not attached to you, meaning, say you go and you're on a job and something happens, God forbid. The person cannot sue you and take your personal asset. They could only sue the company, and your insurance will cover whatever expenses there is. Also, with a C Corp, like what I have, I go back and forth to Jamaica because I'm doing stuff there. I can write off all my expenses, my plane trips, my hotel stay as well. It's considered a business expense. Whereas with a DBA or a LLC, you could only write off portions of that. With a C Corp, say you and your family want to take a vacation, you could write off the entire trip as a business expense. All you have to do is you take an hour out of your vacation each day and you write in a ledger, we have a meeting from 9 to 10 and we discuss such and such, and you bring that back to your accountant. All of that is written off as a business expense to you as well. So there's lots of benefits as it relates to being a business owner. There's also a lot of responsibilities that comes with that as well. But as I said, if you want to live the life that you want to live, you have to be willing to give up something to get that particular life that you're aspiring for. There's no such thing as something for nothing. You have to give up something for that. So insurance is key, and make sure when you're doing business, image is another thing. Make sure you're professional, you look professional, you carry yourself well, you speak as clearly as possible. No slangs, none of that stuff. And when you go to do a job, treat that job as if it was your own home or your family member that you're taking care of. Respect your client's privacy, their space. Whatever you see in their home stays in their home as well. And I guarantee you, you will build long life clients where it will no longer be like a client. It's like they take you as a family member. And another thing you have to remember, even though that may be the case, remember, first and foremost, your job that they hired you for comes first. Because sometimes, because people are nice to us, we tend to overstep our bounds. Keep that professional right there. You keep that line, and your work, whatever task they hire you to do, that should always be at the forefront. It's fine we have a good relationship, but whatever they hired you for comes first and foremost, and you do not skimp. You go 100% every single time that you go to service that client. So these are things that I've experienced. And another thing, you might be on a job and you don't like it. There's still something to be learned from that job that you can you could transfer over into what you want to do. And the beautiful thing with skilled labor is like this. You see what you got up here stays here. It's like a bird that has flight. You can never take flight out of a bird, and you could never take swim out of a fish. You could chase a bird away, he takes flight with him, he doesn't leave it there. It's same thing with skilled labor. What all the knowledge you have acquired over the years stay with you. You might be in a job, the boss doesn't treat you right. No, look at all the things that the boss does not do right, and you incorporate his mistakes into your business when you go to set it up. You say, hey, this is what they do. I'm not doing that. So no, based off the experience that you've gained from that from your prior employer, you actually are at an advantage because you were on the inside. You know what these people aren't doing right. So now you become a competitor. And another thing is people think that sometimes you need a whole bunch of clients to start. Because when I was about to start, I bounced ideas off other exterminators. It's like, oh, no, you need to have at least 100 clients to go on your own. I said, wow, I felt like somebody just stabbed me in the heart. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm never going to be able to start my own business. And I sat there and I said, no, the person who started this company that I'm at didn't start with 100 clients. I said, when you're counting, you start from one. And I formulated a model for myself. I said, I'm going to go out here. And another thing was throughout working for companies, I used to work from 6 to 6 or 7, and from 7 to 12 at night, I would have my clients that I have on the side that I would service after I'm done doing their work until I build up my client base. Then I stepped out on my own. And I had a model. I said, I only need to get one customer a month. And my friend said, that doesn't make sense. I said, don't worry, it makes a lot of sense because I'm going to do such a good job for that one person. They're going to give me their mother, their father, their sister, their friends. And that's what I did. And I've never done advertising, all grassroots. And I have more work than I can handle. There's no day my phone doesn't ring where I don't have to turn down work. But within that, I made sure I invested in me. I compete against myself to be the best exterminator I can be for me. And when you invest in your craft, remember this. Another thing is money follows value. So that is why I don't let money be the thing that drives me. What drives me is the results that I get from my customers and my clients. When I know they have an issue, I go in, I resolve it. I feel like a superhero because knowing that I resolved whatever issues they were going through, that's my high, not the financial benefit. Not to get you wrong, I work for money, but I don't let the money be the thing that drives me. And you have to develop that mindset where, yes, things might be hard and you want to get the money, but don't let that be the thing that drives you because you will not be successful. I'm telling you, I've seen many guys come crash and burn in this field that I'm in because they want to make money so much they go and they charge less than what the work is valued because they're competing. And now they go in and now they're running from this customer to the other customer because they're trying to get volume because they charge so cheap. Now they have to depend on volume to make something substantial. I don't operate that way. I deal with quality. I go in, I charge you based off what the work is valued, and I get referrals on top of referrals. But with your business, you have to remember again when you're starting out, also is when others are asleep, you should be up. You should be up. Whatever field you're trying to get into, research it. So at least when you start, you have an idea of what you're getting into. And you would be so surprised that skilled labor is one thing that will always be needed. You always need builders. You always need electricians. You hear they talk about AI? You cannot be replaced by AI because you need physical people to go lay bricks. You need physical people to go deal with rodent issues, roach issues. You need physical people to go do sheetrock. And I will tell you this, surprisingly, over the years, I've built relationships with other people who are skilled labor, who have skilled labor, plumbers, mechanics, electricians, sheetrock people who do tape and plaster. If you see these people, you would not know that they are that diversified in terms of what they own. Yeah. So at times we may look at skilled labor as it's at the lower tier. It is the top tier because we are the ones who make all of this go around. I'm telling you, the respect that I get from accountants, lawyers, doctors, the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. I work for the gentleman who actually owns the land and was the previous owner of the Barclays Center. I have worked for Felicia Rashad, who was on the Bill Cosby show all those years. So you'd be surprised to see where you came from to the people that you end up being in front of, having conversations. You may say, how did I get here? You may start out saying you want to become a lawyer or a doctor, but life works in mysterious ways where we end up doing things that we didn't have. Because I never thought I would be an exterminator. But this is what I end up doing. And I love what I do. And you will meet people who will give you so much knowledge, especially when they see that you're capable. They will help you along your journey as you go along. Because I believe life is like this. Nothing happens by mistake. It's by design, by the creator, or by nature, not happenstance. So you have to make sure when you go and you choose whatever you're doing, apply yourself 100%. And one thing that I realized is this, it is not a lack of information that's the problem. We have more information than ever before. The issue is application. That is the problem that I encounter. You give information, but the application of information is the biggest issue because this is where it comes down to, oh, you're inspired. You got the information. Now go apply that information. That's where the work comes in. And that's what a lot of us don't want to get into, the work part of it. But remember this. You remember that nice, shiny car you want? You got to put the work in to get it. And remember, when you get into to your career, or if you want to get into skilled labor, think about the next generation, your kids. Leave them in a better place than you were. And there's because not to get it too deep into certain things, but I'm self-employed. I manage my entire retirement portfolio, all of that stuff. And you know how I did that? From working with customers. I work for Allianz Asset Management, PIMCO. They manage $2.5 trillion on the asset they manage. I work for Virtue Financial. It's a hedge fund company. So I'm telling you this, that you may see the little plumber on the street, you may see the little electrician with his little broken down pickup truck, the people that he's coming into contact with, who's changing his life. So never judge a book based off the cover. Open that book up and see what's inside. So there's opportunities, but a lot of people don't want to get into skilled labor. I don't know why. It's something that we have a shortage of skilled labor, even in Jamaica, where I'm from, even here in the US. And one thing I can say, based off my own experience, this country will reward the man who is willing to take the risk. If you're not willing to take the risk, you will be on your 9 to 5 that you're miserable at, right? But if you're willing to step out and take that leap, it won't be easy. But let me tell you this, if it was easy, we all be millionaires. It is the few who's willing to sacrifice and put that work in who ends up being the ones who reap the rewards at the end of the day. And these are the people that we look at and then we say, oh, I want to be like him. But are you willing to put the work in? So at the end of the day, it all boils down to your mindset, and make sure whatever dream you're dreaming or whatever you're trying to achieve, let it be so bold and big you're scared. Because if you're not scared when you think about your dream, it's not big enough. So you have so what you have to do when you're starting is this: figure out what you want to get into, whatever craft you want to get into. Learn the industry. Another thing is choosing a name for your business. Make sure it means something. My business is called Cades Exterminating. This is my family here. K for Kevin, A for Aldane and Aiden, which are my son, D for Dylan, my other son, E for Eric, my other son, S for Sabrina, my wife. So on the end, we got the parents protecting the kids on the inside, building for the kids. So make sure when you give your company a name, make sure it's something that has meaning. So when you go out, you're representing more than what the person sees. You have to make you register your business, you make sure the name is not taken, right? And these are things that's, let me not say inexpensive, because people's finances are different, but it won't cost you over $2,000. That's what I can tell you for sure. So like me, I have, because I do all these buildings, I have what's called action over coverage, which is a much larger insurance. So it sometimes with businesses, sometimes you have to get bonded depending on who the client is. They need additional insurance and stuff like that. But you go to an agent and they'll be able to get you all that you need. And sometimes some clients do not accept certain insurers. So these are little things that you will go through as you go along, depending on what field you're getting into and the clients that you end up servicing. Another thing, know your tax bracket. Another thing with business is this: you see your cell phone, that's a business expense. A piece of your mortgage, that's a business expense. You have a home office, you write off a piece of that as a business expense. You take your wife out for dinner, you could write that off as a business expense. Your computer, your cell phone bill, your cable bill, there's so much benefits there is from owning your own business. Those are some of the benefits. Your car, gasoline, all of that stuff is stuff that you could write off as well. Another thing that's good, say you make a nice chunk of change one year, you could give each one of your kids $10,000, no taxes. Another thing is, even though I have my own business, I put myself on payroll. So I pay myself every 2 weeks. And you know what happens at the end of the year? I file my taxes, I get a tax return, and you see the money that I pay myself. Now that money that I pay me is deducted from my business as a business expense. So you see, there's so much benefits when you own your own business. And this is nothing illegal. This is all legal stuff I'm telling you about. What I pay in taxes, the the person who makes 30,000 or whatever pays way more taxes than I do. Yeah. So there's a lot of benefits. Ownership is a very good thing, but it comes with responsibilities. It comes with hard work. But at the end of the day, it's like this. Do you prefer to work for yourself hard and get 100% of the proceed, or you prefer to work hard for somebody else and get a fraction? And this is not about greed. This is about your aspirations. What I believe is basic logic. Because sometimes you're on a job and it's not like the boss gives you a special skill. You are the one who has all the skill, all the knowledge. But sometimes we are so scared to step out on our own and try something. And I'll give you this before I turn it over to you guys. Before to you guys. I Before I went on my own, I was I started a business with another gentleman. You have to be careful when you're starting business with people. Make sure you are aligned in terms of the vision. And one thing that will change things quick, fast, and in a hurry is when money begins to change hands. I was in the business with a gentleman. It took me 2 years to learn how to write a proposal properly to submit to a company. I did all the legwork, all of that stuff. I just put him on because I was scared. That's the thing. I'm like, I'm getting into something. I'm scared. And it's not like he knew how to do anything. I just needed company to feel good. And it got to a point where I was shut out of my own bank account. Um, so we end up going our separate ways. I started from scratch. And within that experience, what it taught me was this. Now you get to build a business the way you want to do it. You don't have to be back and forth with anyone. Not to say that partnerships aren't good, but you have to make sure you guys are aligned in terms of what you guys are trying to achieve. And there has to be trust on both sides of the fence when it comes to partnerships. And if you're going to do partnerships, I suggest you do a C Corp. No, like my business, I'm not an owner, I'm the president of the business, and I'm the CFO of the business. I could give all my kids they get shares of the business at the end of the day, but I'm the majority shareholder of the business. So that way you separate it from you. So those are the benefits, some of the few of the benefits that you get when you actually become a business owner. And you have, as I said, learn all aspects of the business. It's because of sitting down when I come home, researching, speaking to people, clients that I've had who see my potential and took the time out. find out how my business is doing, what can they do to help me. So the information I get is what somebody else would pay for that I get for free. So, and another thing is when you're a business owner and when people realize you own the business, there's a different level that they treat you differently. I don't know why, but they look at you from a differently because once they realize you're the owner of the business. So whatever you're doing, I know there might be days you want to give up, you want to quit. It's rough. I've been there, been through it. Even sometimes, even though I'm doing this for years, I'm like, ah, yeah, I'm tired. But that's just a part of it. I have a vision, I have a dream. I continue to strive for that vision. I continue to strive for that dream because I'm the one who has it in my head. Nobody else can see it, just me. So with that being said, any questions? I'll be more than happy to answer for you guys.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Kevin. Honestly, I was blown away by all the business advice and tips you've given to us. One thing I'm going to take the liberty since I have control of the floor. I wanted
Yes.
to ask you, how do you actually create a business plan, and how did you seek, I assume, funding, or how did you put up the money when you were starting your business?
All right. With my line of business, meanwhile, I was with Magic Exterminating. Um, what happened was you had to do a 30-hour course, and it's not hard. A 30-hour course, then you take the state exam to get your license. Throughout that period of time, I was saving some money, right? But what happened was the company was taking up too much of my time and I couldn't build my clientele base up where I wanted. So I quit that job and I took a job that paid me less money. But the trade-off was they gave me time that was more valuable than the money that they were paying me, right? And what I did was with my business plan was all the things that they would do wrong, I would jot those down because I'm the one who's dealing with the clients. I'm the one out there with the customers. So I would jot down all their mistakes and I would say, all right, this is not I'm not going to do that. This is what I'm going to do, right? And that's basically what I did with the funding now to do exterminating for the exam, to get the books, the 30-hour course, to take the state test, runs you about $2,000. And once you get that you do the 30-hour course and you get the state exam and you pass, it's 50 open book questions and 50 closed book questions to that test. Once you pass, you become a technician. So you work under the supervision of a commercial applicator. So throughout that technician process, after a year, you have to get 12 credits, a letter from your employer, and you submit that to the DEC. Now you become a commercial applicator. Now you're able to buy your own chemicals and you're able to open your own business. And also, you're able to add what's called categories to your license. So not because you're an exterminator, you could go and work anywhere. It doesn't work like that. So I did what's called food processing. So I did a food processing F category. So now I can do restaurants. I could do food processing plants. Another thing that I did was I did a category C. So now I can do termite treatments. So if you're selling a home or buying a home, I'm the one who comes in to do a termite inspection, a wood destroying pest report. And if you didn't know, that will stop the sale of a house dead in its track. Yeah. So the funding isn't that much as it relates to exterminating. And another thing that's beautiful, your overhead cost isn't that much either. But what's taxing is acquiring and getting that knowledge to become proficient and good at what you do. And my motto is this: every time I step in my truck, I know nothing about exterminating because I step out as an empty vessel as much as I'm doing this for years. And believe it or not, I could have an apprentice, teach him everything I know, still he might not know anything. Because you know where your lesson going to come from? The very pest that you're trying to get rid of is going to teach you how to get rid of it than me or anybody else can. Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm opening the floor. I know we are at time, but because of the technical difficulties, I think if we could have 10 more minutes just to
Sure,
open it
that's
up to
fine.
the floor. Yes, I see Mrs. McCarthy. Go ahead.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Kelvin. I must say you have done so well. I have sincerely learned a lot this evening. Since I didn't know about opening my own business, you touched about every aspect of it. Thank you so much. And
You're welcome.
the thing you said about the accent, that we should stick to our accent. We shouldn't slang. We
You,
should
you,
speak clearly. Sometimes you will speak your Ghanaian accent, and some people will go like, "Huh? Pardon? What did you say?" Like they are not familiar with your Ghanaian accent. And when they do
yes.
that, it discourages you in some way. So there, I want you to expatiate well for me. If we don't learn how to say water and we say water and they don't
Yes.
understand, how do we go from there? I mean, how do we proceed? Because the person you are communicating with is not understanding you. What
Oh,
must
okay.
we do? Yeah, thank
All
you.
right. See, even me, I'm from Jamaica. I had to learn because I'm used to saying process. They say, what? It's process. So I even encounter that sometimes because I deal with Hispanics. I don't speak Spanish. But what will happen is you will have situations where language becomes a barrier at times. But if you're once you're doing it, you learn how to navigate. And let me see how best I can explain this. Through experience that you're going to gain over a period of time, because I can clearly understand what you're saying at the moment when you speak to me. And another thing is this: the beautiful thing is that you're in New York here, and there's so many different nationalities, and people are more forgiving than we tend to think because they hire you to do a job. Most times they already explain what the issue is. You know what the issue is, right? So you go, you do what you have to get done. If there's any conversation that should be had, I don't think that based off what I heard by you speaking to me, I could understand you clearly as well. So don't let don't feel discouraged about people not hearing you clearly, because trust me, out here in the work in the work field, especially as it deals with skilled labor, most of the times people hire you, and there are many people that I work for who I've never met, and I've been working for them for years. I've never met them before. We only had conversations over the phone, or someone hired me, they give me access, I'll go do what I have to get done. So don't be discouraged by you thinking that you don't speak clearly enough, because as you go along, you will learn how to communicate better with people. And when I'm saying communicate, I'm not talking in terms of an accent. People don't like when you come in their homes with slangs from the street. That's what I'm basing it off mostly, because they want to make sure when they bring someone in their home, this is their space. They want to make sure they're bringing somebody who's professional. So your accent isn't a barrier to entry. Trust me when I tell you. So don't be discouraged about that. And if you think that you need to shape upon certain words that you may have a challenge with, do that on your spare time. Speak to yourself. That's where the work comes in.
Thank you. I saw one
Yeah.
question in the comments about to you, Mr. Kevin, about how
Yeah.
much do you usually charge? I know that's kind of a loaded question, but are you able to give us like a pricing
All
or
right. All right. When it comes to charging, I look at it like this. It's unfair to me to give you a price for something that I've never seen. So the way I operate, I go, I do an inspection, I see what the job entails, then I'll give you a price. And I don't charge you to do an inspection. A lot of that's I operate way different from the average company, because they will want to charge you for an inspection, and then they say, all right, if you give me the job, I'm going to waive the inspection fee. No, the inspection fee is already tied into the job already. They just make it seems as if you're getting something for free. When I go, I do the inspection. I don't charge you anything. You don't have to hire me if you don't like the price. But that's just the way I operate. I'm as fair as possible, because I've seen how companies have taken advantage of people, especially in my community. That's why I said no. And another thing, I said, all these years I've been doing this, I don't see a Black exterminating company out here. So, and I've had big companies offer to buy me out. I said, no, I'm not going to sell. They said, we'll give you 5 times what you make. I said, no, I'm not selling. Well, can we figure out a way how to partner up with you or be a part of your business? I said, no, you cannot. So I don't give people a price for something that I haven't seen. It's either I'm going to charge you more than what the work is worth, or I'm going to charge less than what it is. When I go there, I realize, hey, I need more materials to do this particular job. So I make it fair, where I'll do the inspection, give you a price. Once you get the price, you could shop it around. That's basically it. But I don't give a quote over the phone.
Thank you. I see Mrs. McCarthy's hand raised one more time. Please go ahead.
I'm sorry. Then I have to come again.
Yes.
Mr. Kevin, as
Yes.
it's a norm, I know Dr. Sarah might have
Yes.
introduced you, but
Yes.
I honestly did not start with you on the program, so I did not hear. I want to know what your job description is, what your job entails, so that
Oh,
we
I'm
can
an
patronize
oh,
you.
okay.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
So I'm an exterminator. So I do mice, roaches, rats, bed bugs, mice, ants, crickets, centipedes, bees, all that stuff that I
Okay.
take care of. I also do consultations for corporations. I would go in. They're having an issue, I would go figure out what's going on, then write up a proposal as to how to get it resolved, make recommendations. I would go to food processing plants like in Nestle in New Jersey, and see if there's any conducive conditions, meaning they might be having a rodent issue. What's causing this rodent issue? Oh, you got holes over here, you got improper garbage disposal, stuff like that. So it's a vast amount of stuff that the job entails. It's not just going in and getting rid of mice or roaches. It goes a bit beyond that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I see Mr. Fred's hand is raised. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. May I know how long you usually spend in home?
You're echoing. You're getting a feedback.
So I've seen one exterminator working in the building where I used to live.
Yes.
When they come there, they just spray the chemical like within even less than 5 minutes, and
Yes.
they are done. And I was thinking, is this effective enough? But they just
All right.
spray pop, and they are gone. So
All right.
how
As it relates
effective-
to exterminating, everybody works different. That is where you study, you invest in your craft, like I stated before. Um, a lot of guys, when they go to work, the easiest thing is to go and take a can and spray, 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 and they're gone. I always say, what about the roaches in the cabinets? How do you get rid of those up there if you're just spraying the bottom? So there's different stuff that you can use, different methods of treatment that you can use. There's no one size fit all. It has to do with the particular individual who's treating. Hello? Yes.
Fred, did that answer your question?
I think I'm okay.
Oh, okay. I see another hand, and I think this will be, we'll take one more hand after this if there's any others. Dr. Peprai, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sarah. Kevin, thank you very much.
You are
Also
welcome,
for all
sir.
the pearls of wisdom.
Not a
Pearls
problem.
of wisdom in business that you have given us. You just, like Dr. Sarah was saying, you blew us off. But, we thank you very much. I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Your paperwork, like your receipts, your work reports, they are
Yes.
so highly professionally done. And
Yes.
I don't know, I know you have big companies like PIMCO. PIMCO is a name that you hear when you listen to Wall Street,
Yes.
like the business reports. They are the
Yes.
biggest bond company. You also talk about Barclays. But
Yes.
I was thinking, how does technology help you in putting such quality paperwork for your clients? How does that help?
All right. That ties into image as well. Because a lot of people think I'm a big company, I'm just by myself. I use a company called Fieldwork HQ. So that handles my invoicing, my service reports. Also, with that, when I do my taxes, my sales tax, I pay taxes every quarter to the state of New York. And this is why I say you got to be mindful of every aspect of your business. You don't have to be an expert in every part of it, but when it relates to your finances, you have to pay special attention to that. So with the Fieldwork HQ that I have, it breaks down how much money I make per hour, per day, per week, per month. So I can track my productivity on my end over here. Also, I know how much money I'm supposed to pay in taxes before my tax guy even pays that money. Because because it goes in my system, he sees how much I'm supposed to pay, then he pays it. He has to call me first and let me know, hey, Mr. Taylor, your taxes is due and it's X amount of money. Should I pay it? Is that I said yes, go ahead and pay it. Because I know before he even knows how much I'm supposed to pay, because I go in my system and I know how much money I'm supposed to pay in taxes. And once he sends that money to the state of New York, I get a response on my phone as soon as that money is deducted from my account that, hey, X amount of money has been removed from your account for NYS state of New York. So you have to make sure you have the proper tools in place. So you have to invest in your tools as well, not just the tools that you use to go get the job done, but the other tools that allows you to operate efficiently as well, like your paperwork. You have to make sure those are presentable as well, because image goes a very long way when it comes to business.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, I'm just checking the chat right now just to make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay. And if there are no further questions, then I want to take this time, Mr. Kevin, to thank you so much. Honestly, nobody could have told me I would have taken so many business pearls from this. And I realized that we all can create our own businesses, but we can't create businesses that will stand the test of time if we don't have those pieces of advice that you said, maintaining the image, being professional, knowing your business. These are things that honestly, we as a community may not have had access to, but because of you, we now have that and we can use that to implement in our own future endeavors. So thank you so much. And I just want to, and I want to know if you want to leave any of your information or if you have a business card or something you would like for us to pass on, please let us know. And I'm looking in the chat and I see that people say we want to hear from you again. So definitely don't be a stranger to us.
Yes.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Pepper has my information. And one thing I'll say before I leave, view yourself as a corporation and know the value of that corporation. Because if you don't know the value of your corporation, you're going to allow others to put the value on you. So know what your corporation is worth and you operate within that frame.
You are so right. Even as an employee for anybody, I can say that, yes, if you don't value yourself, then people won't value you as well. So, sir,
Yes.
Once more, thank you so much. And as we're coming to a close, I want to remind everybody, for those who have graduated this year, please send me your information. Tomorrow is the deadline to send me your information, including the school you graduated from, pictures from your graduation, any awards you may have received, because we want to make sure that we honor you for our graduation exercises this Sabbath. Please bring your cap and gown. Everybody who graduated, please bring your cap and gown to the program this Sabbath. And tomorrow we'll be joined by a talk on plumbing. And so we look forward for you to come and join us for that. And then on Friday, we'll be joined by Pastor Siem. And Saturday, we'll have our in-person Sabbath graduation exercises and speeches. So please don't miss out on that. In terms of other announcements, I don't think there's anything else that the leaders or, okay, yep. So I don't think there's any other announcements. So we will end. I'm gonna ask, let me see. I see, okay. I'm gonna ask, I see Elder Bequin is on the line. I'll ask Elder Bequin to give us a closing prayer. After the closing prayer, we will hear one stanza from our theme song, which is "Oh God, Our Help," and then we'll do Mispah. So Elder Bequin, if you wouldn't mind, give us the closing prayer. And once more, Mr. Kevin, thank you for joining us this evening.
It was my pleasure. And anytime you guys need me, I'm here.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Elder
Yes,
Bequin,
bye-bye.
bye.
Yo, that's Dr. Sarah. And you know, church. Papa Chow me a mumpai. But was see an ready pa, and you may so say, ɔnam w'adom so na afei wode nimdeɛ mu dɔ ama yɛn ɛfa yɛne nnwuma ho ne mfaso hodoɔ ɛwɔ mu ɛkwan yɛbɛfa so ama no gye no ɛne yɛbɛrane no with integrity ɛyɛ ade a ɛhyɛ Onyame anuonyam yɛnyamesom ne adwumayɛ ne nyinaa yɛsɛ tumi hyɛ wɔ anuonyam yɛyɛ nokwafo adwumayɛ mu nam saa yɛ so ama nhyira bi a ɛwɔ mu no wode ama yɛn anwummere nsɛm pii ne ateɛ Awurade yɛsrɛ wo sɛ boa yɛn na adwene sie bi a yɛbɛsi no nsi yɛnhyɛ wɔ anuonyam fa koma ne adwene nyinaa fa yɛ wo dea ɔpanyin a wodi yɛn anim kɔ so hyira no kɔ so ayɛ no kɛseɛ no ma nimdeɛ a ɛkɔ anim asafomma yi so yɛn nso dopaa domdom yɛn na ɛnyɛ wɔn anim adom na deɛ ɛde yɛn nsa bɛsom biara so wode wɔahyira so na yɛhyira ne anuonyam hyɛ ama wo din anwummere akɔda yi yɛsrɛ sɛ hwɛ yɛn so ɛyɛ wo dom mu no anɔpa de asa aba nkwa mu yɛde w'ayɛyie no nna ase ama wo deɛ woyɛ wɔ yɛn ho ɛde w'ase so atie yɛn wɔ Awurade Yesu din mu amen.
Amen. So I will ask, I think I see Auntie Maggie on the line. While Communications is preparing to play our closing hymn or our theme song, I'll ask Auntie Maggie to give us Miss.
I did it for you, my home mister.
You're welcome. Amen. Have a good night and see you all tomorrow. Take care.